Shall we bring the meeting to order? It's 7:31. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call attendance, please.
Mary Agnes.
Here.
Ken.
Here.
Julie.
Here.
Tom.
Here.
Angie. Here.
Okay, in case you haven't met Julie Davenport and Tom Kaufman or Raymond. No. Tom Kaufman. I was going to get you a new name tag, but I couldn't get the darn thing to come up on the computer. The thing was resetting for me. So, but this is our new treasurer, and Tom is our new trustee that took the Kowalczuk's place here. Welcome aboard.
Yes, welcome.
Okay, we'll get, let's see, let's start with the consent agenda. We've got the minutes. Do you want to read through those quickly, or do we want to just go through the rest?
Before we go into that, I want to make a change in the last time we had the meeting.
Yeah.
You said on the consent agenda that all three of us had to vote the same, which was not true, just a majority. I mean, you and Angie had it, so I want to change mine back to a nay.
To no, okay. Well, the way it was explained to me was that, you know how this took place about getting Patty Kowalczuk on there, and Matt didn't vote? He was here, but he abstained. That gave them, it didn't go one way or another. So the other two voted in favor, and that's how it happened. Otherwise, it would have had to been a unanimous thing to make a change, because your quorum is 3, and we only have 3 to begin with.
Right,
That's
so a
what they
majority
said.
would have been 2, which was you and Angie.
Well, yeah, but we're all here.
Yeah, well, now we are, but I meant
No,
last meeting it was just the 3 of us.
Quorum is 3 of us.
Right, so
So we
out
all
of the
had to
quorum,
vote
the
on the
majority was the 2 of you.
No, the quorum is 3. Our board is 5. We didn't have 2 members. That's the way it was explained to me from the Michigan Townships Association.
So you'd have to have 3 votes instead of 2.
You have to have a quorum, you have to have 3. We only had 3 people, so we all had to vote the same, or nothing
Okay,
got
well,
passed.
it was explained to me differently, so I still want to change mine to a no, as
Okay,
far as
that's fine.
accepting the consent agenda.
Okay,
You have to have 3 when there's 5, you only have to have 2 when there's 3.
well,
That's the way they explained it, that's what majority is.
okay, who's your source?
Jay,
Jay DeBoyer?
yeah.
Oh,
And you
I
said
got
you
it
had an
right.
email from him, if you've got it, I'd like to see it.
I
If
didn't
it
get one.
contradicts it. Oh, no, last time you said you had that from Jay.
Not from Jay, no.
Oh,
I
all right.
called the Michigan Townships Association, and that's
Okay.
how they told me.
Well,
That's how it came about.
so anyways, I just wanted to change mine to a nay
Okay.
on accepting it last time.
Well, it's on record, so.
You got it taken care of. All right, let's go on then. All right, we have the regular minutes of July 13th that was rescheduled from July 20th. We have to have the approval of the treasurer's reports from July 31st. Becker Township Bank reconciliations, both June and July. We have township investment reports for July, including all CDs and money markets. We have the revenue and expenditure report period, including ending July 31st. We have approval of paychecks. July 21st and August 9th, combined gross total of $9,886.89. Approval of accounts payables, the opens to be paid is $6293.02, and the paids are $4,834.92. We have the runs for the Marine City Fire Department for July. We have the Iger Township runs for report for July, which was 0. And then Huron Consultants Engineering report dated 8/1. That is our consent agenda. Anyone entertain a motion to approve?
Can I ask some questions on it first?
You sure can.
Okay, on the last meeting when I did not accept it, there was a check missing that I was curious about, and I didn't want to bring it up at the meeting. I wondered where check number 7382 went.
I have no idea. You don't have that stuff here, do you?
Okay.
I wish you'd have called
So
and asked.
in between that meeting and this meeting, we're missing check numbers 7388 through 7420. Any idea where those would be?
I have no idea.
No, but it would be helpful if you could bring this to our attention before the meeting, so
That's
that
the
I
re-
could provide.
Ken, that's why we
Your
give this to you a
answers
week
for
ahead of
you.
time, so you can ask these questions and we can come prepared.
I didn't know if it was gonna change.
Well, if you got a question on anything, please, you need to be comfortable talking to us about this. You need to bring it to our attention so we can help you.
I just did it for now, so those are two things that I would like to,
Well, I can answer them at the next meeting then, because I can't do it right now off the top of my head.
okay.
Okay.
Let's call him when you get the information,
Yeah.
and then we'll just talk about it at the
Just
next
call and
meeting, so you
I'll
know.
stop by and pick them up, pick
Okay.
up the answers. How's that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion on the floor to accept the
I motion.
agenda? All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, because we're sending money, signify by saying aye.
Aye, and roll call.
And roll call, please.
Okay. Mary Agnes?
Yes,
Julie? Yes. Tom?
Yes.
Ken?
No.
Angie? Yes.
motion carried, 4-1. All right, open session. Anyone wishing to address the board about agenda items that are on the,
Well, I want to address the board about a missing agenda item. It's about a dehumidifier for the basement. It flooded, I don't know, a few weeks ago. A week later, I went down, the floor is still wet. There was a previous dehumidifier that is not in working condition, that's sitting there, and it doesn't work. And they've never replaced it. And we didn't spend all this money for the insurance from the last flood, to dry out all these papers to have them paper absorbs humidity. And that floor is still, it's not on the surface, but the cement looks like wet cement. And so I was disappointed that it's not on the agenda, it should be on the agenda.
and I ran them this morning,
Oh.
and I did put the D-link for the
I
sump
saw the
pump.
D-link, yeah.
Yep, and I have both of those items here for the board to approve this evening.
all right.
Prices on them and some information on it,
Okay,
so we will have a
good.
decision tonight.
Good.
Okay? Thank you, they'll bring it to our attention. Anyone else? All right, let's continue. Unfinished business. Approval of Playworld invoice for $1,159.65. This is for parts only, and it was $80 off from our original, when we quickly added it up here without calculator, and I wanted to make sure we had the correct amount. It has been ordered, we should have it this week. Next week, the 18th. It's supposed to arrive.
Do we have a Parks and Rec?
Yes, we had a meeting last evening.
When are you gonna divulge who everyone is?
Well, when I
That's
had, what happened was some of the people didn't show up. We had Scott Mazzola, myself, Sue Biscorner, and Janelle Schneider is gonna be back on. Bill Shreve wasn't able to make it last night. His son is home from some vacation that he was on, and he didn't want to leave him last evening. And then I've got one more person that hasn't decided for sure. But we have 4 right now.
And all of this was gone through with the Parks and Rec group?
Yes, we
The
talked
committee?
about it last evening, didn't we, Sue?
We talked about it, but I'm not a member.
Oh, you don't want to be a member?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to hear what was, because I was wondering about trunk or treat and some other things, so. but-
Okay. Well, as long as you want to help volunteer too, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I told you I would do that.
So, you can't be on Parks and Rec, you can attend it, but you can't be on it. So in other words, there was 2 people there last night to a Parks and Rec meeting,
I can't be on it, why?
because you're the supervisor.
Well, we always had a board rep. Do you want to be the board rep?
No?
Okay, well, somebody's got to be on it, so I thought I would be the board rep. If you,
I
Tom,
just-
you want to be the board rep?
No, thank you.
Julie? No, thank you. I know you got your hands full.
No, I
Well,
can't.
I just wondered who the whole Parks and Rec committee was. And who's the chairman of it? Who's,
Well, we didn't have a chairman, we just kind of discussed everything, and I took the minutes too, so,
okay, doesn't quite sound right, but if you say,
well, what don't sound right? What don't you like about it, Ken?
we don't have a Parks and Rec committee. I mean, no one is here from Parks and Rec to tell us anything that went on other than what you are. It seems like you're the whole Parks and Rec committee.
Sue, you want to tell them what we discussed?
We basically talked about a picnic or trunk or treat or Christmas, caroling, Santa Claus. Just basically.
Playground equipment?
And the
Mulch?
playground stuff, yeah, you told us about the mulch, but that's pretty much it. I'm not here very long.
But the committee didn't ask questions, they didn't go over the equipment, they didn't vote on it, decide on the mulch, decide who was gonna do anything.
I thought that was already.
Yeah, you've already decided on that. We've got board action done on that already. What do we need to take it back for?
We
I mean,
said
we
that we were
can.
gonna do it, but then we lost our Parks and Rec.
No, we did all that after the Parks and Rec people resigned, because I did it.
Excuse me, but anyway, back to the Parks and Rec, they really have no voice on spending the money, they make suggestions to you. and
Well, that's
you're
what
the ones that approve
I was
it.
hoping that they were the ones that were gonna make the suggestions of all of the stuff
Right, I mean,
that we're gonna be voting on tonight that are gonna cost dollars.
right, as I remember when I was treasurer, we had no control over what was spent. We would make suggestions, and whether they were approved or not by your board is what happened.
And
Well-
also when Matt and Penny were on the board, you guys all discussed it. You had a couple meetings that you discussed it. I don't know how much discussion you need.
It needs to be done regardless, it's a
Right.
safety issue.
Are you two gonna be on Parks and Rec?
No, you're gonna be on the historical side of the.
No, I'm not, I'm just asking. I mean, you
Well,
got the
you're not
answers
on
for
Parks
Parks
and
and
Rec.
Rec, I just wondered if
Why
you were
don't
gonna
you
be
go on
on.
Parks and Rec, volunteer for something?
I'm doing all that I'm gonna do right now,
I
because
know.
of the people that always have comments but never have cures.
But it's funny how people always have comments and don't volunteer for anything.
Yeah, well, you can criticize everything you'd like, Pat.
Well, anyway, that's
Yeah.
getting,
But
All right,
anyway,
let's not
we
go
don't-
through that.
that's getting too personal. At this
I-
point, is there a maintenance person for the Parks and Rec?
No.
Okay.
We have a gentleman that's been working, he's not a maintenance person, he's doing volunteer work for us.
Okay.
We'll have him probably 2 years, this year and next summer too. He's the one that's done all the trimming of the shrubs and stuff and trees in the park and around the township hall. He's put down all the mulch that we purchased. He planted all the flowers I bought. He's done loads of work here. He's been here probably 2 months.
And again, I reiterate to you, the board, that next year, if you look to contact either the high schools to get somebody to do community service, to help you do some of these things at the park, you know, as long as you document their time, that is a plus for the board and the township, as well as the student who needs the community service time.
Mhm.
All right, do we want to approve this invoice or do we want to scrap it? We approved the first one, it was $80 short, so I put it in again for the full amount. If you don't want to approve this one, we got the other one approved, I'll just tell them to knock off $80 worth of parts, and we'll go from there, if that makes you feel better.
Make your motion.
I'm sorry?
Make your motion.
I would like to have the approval of the Township Board for an invoice for Playworld for $1,159.65 for parts only for the
Second.
Township Park. Thank you. All in favor, signify by saying aye by roll call, please.
Mary Agnes,
Yes.
Ken,
No.
Angie, yes. Julie?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 4-1 again. All right, let's go to the approval of the Marine City Nursery invoices for the red mulch that I gave you copies of the invoices, I broke them down for you. I gave you invoice numbers, invoice dates, amounts. The total invoices were $272 apiece. 4 1/4 yards went to the Township Hall grounds, so that would be $136. 4 1/4 went to the Township Park, that'd be $136. So we broke it up that way, so that's the total. If that's agreeable to you, when the invoice comes in, I'd like to have it paid.
Got a question on that too.
Yes, sir.
Out of where?
Out of where, what?
Well, you just approved the Playworld equipment. Is that coming out of Parks and Rec or general
That's,
fund?
well, the Parks and Rec part will be paid out of theirs. And there's maintenance for this building.
So the 136 will be for here
Right,
and the rest will be for Parks and Rec?
right. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve those invoices, please, for Parks and Rec and the Township Hall grounds for red mulch, please.
I'll second. Did you make a motion?
I was asking for a motion.
Oh, I motion to approve.
Okay.
This has already been delivered and displaced.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Julie seconds. All in favor signify by saying yes to a roll call vote, please.
Ken?
No.
Angie, yes. Tom?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Mary Agnes?
Yes. Motion carried, 4-1. All right, we have a resolution for the water billing clerk versus outsourcing with the company. Tom, did you get a chance to go through any of that stuff? Did you understand what we were trying to do there?
Yep.
Okay, Julie, did you have any questions? You weren't involved in the first part, but. Ken, how about you?
You don't want the comments. Pass on them.
I'm sorry?
You don't want the comments, so we'll pass on them.
We don't want the comments?
No.
Why don't we want the comments? If it's gonna be no, we'd like to know why.
Well, we got our water bills again. This is one of the two that Angie, or your resolution is gonna include, is that correct? There's, I guess, a lot of questions on the water bills. There's a new number on there. There's still not an explanation of how the rates were determined. And we still haven't even addressed any of the stuff that the audit people have told us that we need to do as far as rates.
No, this is an authorization for a trial for the
Well, we
invoicing,
got
for
a
the
trial
clerk itself. It has
and-
nothing to do with the rates, Ken.
Okay.
The rates
But
are
it's
still
part
the
of the
same
water
ones that
bill.
were on here for the last 3 years.
And everyone's calling, wanting to know what the difference is on the water bills.
Okay,
Why
who's
was-
calling you?
Not everybody is calling.
Well, how many people, did you get any calls?
750 invoices went out, and I'd say maybe 10 people. Not
Wanting to
7
know
to
the
10.
$21?
Yeah, they have a question about it's sad that they had no idea that they were even being charged those rates.
I understand.
Yeah, okay.
But could it have not been on there?
Well,
The
did you
billing
read
rates?
the invoice and the area where the announcements were at? It said that residents, customers were asking me to break it out from the usage. That's why I did it. That's the only reason why I did it. I was
It's never been
listening-
done before,
I was
so.
listening to the residents and the customers.
It's still confusing, the ones that did call and ask. I mean,
Okay, were you able to explain it to him?
no, I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't.
I knew
you
there
weren't-
was a $21 fee
You
if
didn't
you were
understand
hooked
it
up.
then? Okay,
Did not know that it was included in the bill if you had a water bill.
Mm-hmm.
It was never ever explained to me that way either.
okay.
So, and you still can't determine what your water rate is. You'll know how many units you use, but you don't know what the cost is for them.
Well, you divide it out, Ken.
Well-
Take the money and divide it by the number of units. It'll tell you what it costs. That's why when you break out the $21, that was the idea behind making it more clear.
It's definitely
I mean,
more
if you
clear.
can't add and subtract, I can't teach them that.
I can. I think that we just went back to this mulch thing because of adding and subtracting last time, didn't we? On the last bill?
No, I don't know why you wanted
Can a
it.
bill be properly introduced to everyone and explanatory so
Sure.
anyone can understand it?
Sure, but that's the way it's been done since, what, 1990 when we started getting BSNA?
Take the amount that you use times the 1050 plus the $21.
I
It
can-
doesn't show the 1050
Well, I
on
can
there.
definitely
It just
put that
says
on there
You
next
used
time.
22 units and you spent $336. Yes, you can divide it out.
No, instead of your side, they asked her to put on the 1050.
Well, I understand that. When you
Yeah,
go, when you
that's a
walk out of
simple-
VG's and they say you owe $92 for groceries, do you like to see what you paid for?
Oh, I always get my bills from
You
her.
know,
Well, okay, I'd like to see that on the water
but you've
bills
been on
too.
the board for 4 years almost, and this is the first time
Yes,
you brought this
exactly.
up.
That's what you
Exactly.
said to me
Water
6
since
months ago too.
2008, and you have never asked for an explanation of your water rates and how it was computed.
Yes, it was. It was discussed many times as far as upping the water rates and getting them to correspond with the different distributors.
You
Ken,
never asked.
it's
Laura
never been
to
a-
Break it down.
It's never been raised since 2010, so it's been the same
I
rate
know
since
it
you
hasn't
came
been
in.
raised, and that's where this all stems from, is we had that whole survey done that told us what we needed to do.
Right,
And you were addressed part of that. in-
No, I was just the deputy clerk.
Some of the letters were directed towards you when you were a deputy clerk. Then nothing else got done. This all stems from back then when nothing was followed through as far as our rates. No one knows what the rate is.
Okay, well, nothing in this resolution says that we want to change any rates yet. All we're asking for is permission to use the clerk's office to put the water bill out. Give us 2 quarters to figure this out, to make sure that she has it under control, and she's doing a fantastic job.
I believe she is too.
Okay, so if you don't have any fault with other than the rates don't apply to this resolution. So if you want to take a look at the resolution again and see what you think, but going out and buying a new firm to take over all of
It's
these
not a firm,
water...
it's just to hire a full-time water billing clerk. That's all that it is. Someone that can spend their time doing that. Then that way, we would have our packets completed a week in advance. Angie has got a full plate without the water bills, that's it.
I thought you were concerned about the outsourcing.
That's
I
what the
thought the
idea
water
is.
billing
No,
clerk was
we
laid to
just-
rest.
It wasn't outsourcing, it was discussing hiring someone to work with the DPW to get everything put together, then submit it to you or the treasurer,
Well,
like the other
I
townships.
propose
do.
that we change the sentence then, in the last sentence of this top paragraph of the second page of the resolution, and we say, at the end of this trial period, we will entertain an idea if it's unsatisfactorily done, right here.
Yep, I'm reading
You
it.
know,
If after
so-
this trial period, the township board finds that the invoicing is not up to their expectation,
Exactly.
then 2 additional bids would be
We'll
obtained for outside
entertain-
contracting?
We'll entertain the idea of outsourcing or hiring a water
Entertaining the
billing
idea
clerk.
is the same
If-
thing that we've been doing all along. We're entertaining an idea. We've entertained,
Yes.
you've been in office how long?
Since November,
Okay, and how many water bills have you sent them?
July 1st.
yeah,
That was your first one?
yes,
Yes.
exactly, yeah.
So no one got any water bills from November to July?
That was my first, try at it.
It's your office.
I'm not gonna get into this.
Well, I'm not gonna
We're just-
argue with
no,
you, I'm just
not.
saying,
All right.
we're
Well,
gonna entertain.
That's where we need somebody in the office. Angie, you do, as far as I know, you're doing a great job.
She
But-
is.
But every township I go to that I work with has people that's been there for years, that people walk in and talk to. I go to East China, go to Clay, go to Iowa Township. There's a couple girls there that do the water billing and talk to the people when they come in to pay their water bills. Election years, they're still there after the election, before the election, that don't change. Because after an election year, you have all new people in, everything's up in the air again, no one knows which way to run next. Angie, you didn't have a clue, I don't think, when you come in here about how all the water billing worked. But you learned it now. And even if we have a girl, you're still gonna have to know it all, because if that girl doesn't work out, you're gonna have to make sure it's covered till we get a new girl in. But I still think we need a full-time employee in here to go right straight through.
Okay, see, well, that's the difference in opinion, because it isn't a full-time job. It
Well-
takes you, we had this discussion, because I told you I did it for 4 years. It took me 22 hours. And I did it on a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday. Put the bills out on Monday morning. I was here by myself. I didn't have a phone call to take. I didn't have anybody coming to the door asking me stupid questions. I had all my work done, and I worked on it steady for 22 hours straight. And that includes taking it home and folding them and stuffing them and licking the envelopes and bringing them back and then running them through the postage meter. It isn't gonna be a full-time job. It's a
I think
quarterly
you're
thing.
confusing full-time job with a full-time clerk.
Not,
A water billing clerk doesn't necessarily mean 40 hours a week.
Are you gonna have a girl
Whatever's
work
needed.
17 hours or 22 hours every 3 months, and that's all you're gonna have her here working for?
If that's what the job consists of, and that's what the employee wants and agrees to do,
Well-
then that's what we would do.
I'm not buying it. I don't know how you girls feel, but I'm not, that's not enough attention to this
It
job.
isn't.
If 4 times a year she comes to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
well,
Look at our financial state.
there's gotta be other things a girl in the office here could do to help out the
No,
other.
they want it only for the water bill.
Yeah,
That was, explicit with all this, strictly for the water bill.
How are we gonna balance from one election year to the next election year and have somebody know what the heck's going on? That's my point. I've been through 2 different boards here, and everything's up in the air, and no one knows where it's gonna fall, and nobody knows what's going on for a year or more.
If for some reason something happened that Angie decided to quit. Then where's the township again?
Well, another
Gotta
thing
start
that-
all over
Another
again.
thing that Doc brought up, that you'd have to change her duties. You can't just, she's being compensated, you have to change her.
List of
request duties. That's her
complement.
statutory duty.
Yeah.
So you'd have to go to the channels to change that before you could do anything.
Well, how's the other townships do it? They've got people doing this
Well, they must
for
have
them.
changed the statutory duties.
Well, they're gonna have
They
to.
must have gone through the red tape.
How
Well,
can
this
we
is
keep
why
doing
we're
this every-
presenting the resolution, because the water bills were in a mess, okay? What we're saying here is give me a little bit of time to adjust everything, to perfect it, do the daily maintenance that needs to happen to get this going good. And then at the end of the year, if things are still a mess, then we entertain the idea of a water billing clerk or the outsourcing. But right now, things are running really smoothly. I'm
Would you
doing
be-
a little
would
bit
you
every
be-
single day, and everything is tip-top shape.
Would you be willing to rewrite that and say, if the board is not satisfied at the end of the year?
That's exactly
that
what
we
I
would-
suggested.
No, we won't entertain it, that we will go to an outside billing source.
No, because there's not gonna,
Well, you
I
can't make
wouldn't
that
agree with
decision
that.
for the next board.
I know that.
So how are you
I'm
gonna
just
say
saying
that?
on your proposal.
No, you
No,
can't
we
do
need
that,
to say
Ken.
we'll
Then that means
entertain
you
the
can still
idea.
keep going around in the same circle again.
No, the next board makes that decision. It's not our place to make it if we all get canned.
Well, then, right now, we've got it up to election, right now, is that correct? We don't need it for the next quarter. So if you're gonna make this proposal, she's already sent the water bills out, let's agree to it.
Well, the last
won't
quarter,
have to do the
the
water
last
bill.
quarter's October. There's 2 quarters
She
yet to
just
do.
got the water bill out last week.
Yeah, but the next billing is October.
September will be the last.
Well,
The
that's the end of the month,
September.
but the bill comes out
Yeah.
October 1st.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Angie, are you up for election again in November?
Yes, I am.
So if we get this straightened out and someone new comes in, we're right back where we started.
I'm unopposed.
Oh, yeah, good chance, man.
I just want to say something.
Yes, sir.
This is what the clerk's duties were when we, on the compensation committee, set the salary. There's nobody in any position on here that said they were in charge of the water bill. So none of these, the treasurer, supervisor, the clerk, or nothing, ever submitted that they were doing water bills.
Well, I know they did because I was doing them.
Well,
And I was under the
I'm
clerk.
telling you what they gave us in the letters, in their writing, okay, that was transposed here. So, in a sense, Angie's doing something that is not on her job description from the last time they had a conversation meeting.
Excuse me, Vi, you got a question?
When that was done, you weren't in the office, because I was on the compensation commission.
Yeah, but when the salaries were originally set,
That's what it is.
a long time ago, before you, Mr. Barnes.
Before, and then these were adjusted the next meeting we had. They came in with their new job descriptions.
And you took the water billing people out of it?
They never put it on as
They
they
never
did.
put it on.
So we don't have anybody to do the water billing?
Not according to the.
Then what was Don
the
Armstrong
people.
talking about?
I don't know.
Okay, he had a lot of paperwork
Yeah.
proving that.
I don't know.
Angie,
He was
I
on
think
it
you've
then.
got a full plate.
I definitely have a full plate.
Without the water.
Yes. mhm.
That's all.
No, that's what I'm saying, we can't blame it all on her because it was never, we took the MTA, responsibilities, and everybody wrote on a sheet of what they actually physically did.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody put anything on there about water bill, okay? So I have nothing in writing from them saying that that's what they would do. So I don't know how you could substitute that unless you were to let Angie go continue till we get a new board going, taking care of that, and maybe giving her a helper more hours or going to the outside. But there's nobody specifically that is being paid according to what they put on their list.
I don't know what
and
he's
the-
looking at, but Don Armstrong had it all written
I
out.
don't know
I
either.
was gonna say, when Vi was on, she put the water billing down as one of her duties. This was what Lori put down, you know, so.
Oh, Lori didn't do the water bills.
Well,
she
her
didn't.
office was supposed to.
Her office was supposed to, but Helen did them. And Helen was responsible under her, so technically the office was doing it, was it not? They got out some way, I don't know, I got one every quarter.
So there's not a job description, basically?
Well, like, that's what they're saying, I don't know.
Do you want me to go look for the paperwork from Don? Okay.
Well, I have to
okay.
get hold of Don and have him give the.
Yeah, we can do that. Do you want to table this again, or do you want to vote on it?
No, let's
Kill
go
it.
ahead.
We still need to find a backup if something, Angie gets sick or She gets run over by somebody's dump truck or something?
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, she has a deputy.
Well, that's what my
Wouldn't be mine.
deputies for. That's what my deputies
I can
for.
always do it.
As long as she doesn't call me time again.
Do you have it there?
Avery's my deputy right now. The current
But you need a
See,
backup,
school
and two
expo.
people have to, more than one person has to know that BSNA.
I know the program, so I could do it.
You're the deputy,
Yes.
that's what happened.
Or you basically need to cross-train once you get stable.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a problem then. But right now, we gotta get it level.
Once you get stable to cross-train.
Well, I think once the program is set up properly, because obviously it wasn't, because when I came in to just observe, there were a few things that were not done in the order of it.
Right.
And he pointed it out, and I thought Angie caught on immediately.
Yeah. And she fixed 90% of it. I think she's got it all pretty well under control. All right, so what's your pleasure on this? Do you want to table this, or do you want to kill it, or do you want to vote on it and see how she flies? Somebody give me a motion.
I don't care for the way this is written in the second page where Angie was talking about.
I make a motion not to accept it.
Okay? I
I'll
need a
second
second. All right, we have a motion and a second to not accept this resolution. Roll call, please.
This is roll call for the resolution.
Mhm.
Tom,
No.
Julie,
Yes.
Mary Agnes?
Yes.
Angie, yes.
No.
Motion carried, 3-2. All right. All right, replacing the water softener, we were gonna have another bid supplied. That gentleman did not come in again. We have two, however, it's been brought to our attention by Mrs. Jones. Ellen said that she has a different kind of, not a water softener, you called it a filter. Yeah. And she says it's around $800 to purchase?
Well, that's what we paid, but we've had ours for several years.
Okay.
And we put it in ourselves.
You bought it from a local contractor. We can buy it, they'll put it in though, right, if we needed to?
Angie, do you have the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you say that
It takes the rust out, all the minerals out, it just doesn't take salt unless you get something else.
okay, we don't have a salt problem. We have an iron problem and a hardness. And like you say, the iron is probably the hardness.
Correct.
So-
Once you get rid of that, you don't have all that yellow in the toilet and.
So if you don't mind, we'll pull this off at this time and research this next step. And I'd like to put that in the form of a motion, please. That we'll contact that gentleman on Meisner and M29?
Beathway.
Beathway, Beathway and Marine City Highway.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll contact him, get a bid from him, and then if you want another bid from a similar type of setup from a different contractor, we'll have two. But they'll be probably under 5,000, so it won't be necessary unless you want it.
Oh, if we had a bid from him and the two water softener guys and take our choice out of the three.
Well, I want to compare apples to apples.
That's
One's a water softener and one's a filtration system. So if we have two filtration systems, then you'd have a better chance to see which way you want to go. But I need a second to that.
Or which one is the cheaper way to go, we can just go that route. It's
You want a
three
motion
options.
to table it? Is that what you're looking for?
No, I made a motion to table this and to add a third person to get another price. And then if you decide you want another filtration contractor to give us, so we'd have two contractors that do the same thing against two contractors that do water softeners to make your final
So
decision.
you want a motion to table this?
No, I need a second. I already made the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. All right, we have, under new business, we have a D-length Wi-Fi water sensor for the township pump downstairs. We keep having these little floods when the pump, some pump decides to not work. The D-length was suggested by Mrs. Runyon. She gave me some ideas. I searched it on the internet, and I had, they're called D-length water sensors. They're, most places are under $60. I got one for $53 and one for $59. Amazon offers it free shipping. With your permission, I'd like to purchase that less expensive one for our,
And when the alarm goes off, it goes to,
someone's telephone. We'll set it up for, and it won't be any good to do mine, because I don't have, my cell service on the river doesn't work, but we'll probably have it go to Don Chop and maybe someone else.
So we'll be hooked up through the internet, so
Yes.
on your Wi-Fi or whatever?
Yes, sir?
I'll make a motion to pass that.
Okay, I'll second. All right, all in favor of signifying by saying aye, and a motion, and roll call vote for less than $60.
Okay. Mary Agnes?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Angie, yes. Julie?
Yes.
Tom?
yes.
Motion carried, thank you. We might as well do that right now with that other little item with the dehumidifier. This was the most popular when you went on the sites, and they recommend it's a AD504D WD Energy Star dehumidifier. It also, you have to purchase the hose, so we don't have to worry about dumping the water all the time. We'll hook the hose to the back of the thing and then run it into the sump hole. I don't know if we should think about 2 dehumidifiers. I don't know what the square footage is on this. I'd have to check on that. But it also has a little item that lets you check the percentage of dampness down there as well. So, like I say, that monitor is $11.25. The one connector hose is only 15 feet, is $8.40. We might, if we're gonna centralize it, we may have to have a longer hose than that. If we go to 2 units, we'll have to have one in the one end and one on the other. But the paperwork down there is miserably damp all the time. And it's starting to make the stuff run together, and anything that was faxed from years ago is almost all disappeared now from a lot of stuff, so, from the dampness. So, with your permission, I'd like to order this dehumidifier and at least one, the monitor, and at least one section of hose.
Which one were you looking at, Mary?
What
sorry?
is the total cost?
Which model was it? That's the humidifier.
Yeah, that's the top one, yeah.
That's a humidifier. at the top.
Dehumidifier. Yeah, it says that, but it's down here, it's a dehumidifier.
Oh,
See
okay.
it, 50 pints.
Okay.
But we don't want to have to run down there and dump the water out, so we want to hook a hose to it and let it work automatic.
What is the cost of the dehumidifier itself? I see the other two, but 180 is crossed off. on mine.
130 right here.
130 right there.
It's
That's
130.
10 used ones for 130.
Unused, okay. Free shipping, 213.20. Oh,
No,
that's
it's less
right.
than 180. I just wondered if you knew what it was. Because it's crossed off and it's blocked out on
They
mine.
sell used ones? I never even saw
Yes.
that. Well, this is from,
If you finance it, it's only 179. So how much is it if you just buy it? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. Well, just put a ceiling on it, and we'll have to
We can look
go
at
back
it on the
and,
phone right now. We can pull it out.
Not to exceed $200, is that enough?
let's
Well,
make
with the
it,
shipping, yeah, it
yeah.
might be 250.
Well, no.
maybe 250.
Yeah, I would say 250.
Not to exceed 250, and we only want to buy one, is that correct?
So we're approving a dehumidifier, a monitor, and a hose. For not more than 250.
For not more than 250. Is that was
And
your
that's
motion?
big enough? You're sure that's big enough, or do you want a bigger one now?
Do you think it needs to be larger?
I don't know the size of
I have a
it.
bigger basement than you do, and mine takes care of my whole basement.
This
Does
one
it?
does?
Okay.
Yeah.
The same size?
It's continuous. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's continuous. Mine's just an average one. I got a rebuilt one actually from Sergeant Appliance, where I got mine and it's been working for years.
You know now it'll
And
probably
there's a
break.
hose to the cell phone, I put it in the middle of the basement.
Okay.
And as soon as I shut it off, or it goes off in the summer, for whatever reason, you start to smell the musk.
It's so musty in here, so I make a motion that we purchase this. I make a motion for the dehumidifier, monitor, and hose for not more than 250.
Okay. Do we need a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a second by Tom. All in favor signify by saying aye. After roll call vote, please.
Ken?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Angie, yes. Mary Agnes?
Yes. Motion carried. All right. I wondered if you wanted us to get bids for seal coating the parking lot and painting the parking space lines. The parking blocks can be painted by the volunteer that we have. It has not been done, it's supposed to be done every other year, we have not done it since 2000, I think they told me 2011 was the last time it was done.
I thought they did that when I was working at four years ago.
Yeah. I can get you prices if you'd like, or if you want to skip it this year, but I noticed these cracks are opening up pretty far. The one out the corner here of the parking lot over towards the garage is probably 3.5 inches wide now.
Did our DPW recommend this?
No. No, that's just maintenance. I have an asphalt driveway at home, I do mine every other year. It's just to get prices. Do you want to do it, or would you rather skip it this year and go next year?
We'll have to get
DPW
prices on it.
recommends to us.
I'm sorry?
Whatever the DPW would recommend to us. Department of Public Works, he takes care of the maintenance, doesn't he?
Well, not
Everything.
really. I mean, it's board action, you gotta decide whether you wanna spend the money or you don't.
This is just a motion to get prices.
To get bids, yeah.
Then we can, if they're too high or we
Yeah.
don't wait, we can do it then.
Yep, you can skip it.
To
Doesn't
make a
matter.
motion, we get prices.
All right, I have a second.
Good prices.
Okay, you got the motion and
Yes,
the,
yep.
and the second? All in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay. We have had a sinkhole out in the bike path. When I sent the packets to you guys, I went over and checked the hole the day before. And when I checked the hole the second time, after I gave you pictures of it, somebody had filled it with asphalt. I think the gentleman that runs the Shangri-La Trailer Park, when they were asphalting their service drives and parking areas, he must have had them throw it in. It looks like they may have cut it out a little larger and filled it in. I got the email from the Drain Commission, or actually the Road Commission, because the Drain Commissioner thought that they thought it was their problem, because it was right at the mouth of the when they were cleaning the ditching or the drains there, right in front of Trailer Park and going across over to Terhune's.
How deep did that hole get?
I'm sorry?
How deep did the hole get?
Well, they were advising me that it was, what was it, 2 feet?
4 feet.
4 feet, 4-foot cavity just south of the Lester Bammel drain.
How long has that trail been in there? 'Cause I gotta agree with them with their first thought, it's a leak in that box culvert. Otherwise it wouldn't have washed, it's a washout from underneath.
Well, I thought they might have done something when they were jetting through the
Box culvert?
the box culvert. So that's,
We can put another patch in there, but if it keeps sinking,
you know,
if you put another temporary patch on it, it goes down again, then they gotta dig the whole side of that box culvert out and see where it's leaking.
Well-
Can I interrupt on that?
Yes,
You know,
please.
'cause that whole drain thing has been in our neighborhood, that's still not done, I don't know if you know that, because basically this engineer really did not do his work and know the job. As it came across the road onto the side of the water, they said at first it was because it was the water line, then they realized that it wasn't the water line, it was the gas lines, and so it stopped to actually have new gas lines run to some of the homes. It still sits out there with, it uncompleted, sits out there with equipment, dirt, and at this point right now, it's almost to the Conyers, but they haven't been able to go ahead because now they forgot to take out certain trees, and they need to bring trees back. And I honestly believe that it is their responsibility that they were so faulty in doing this whole project. Plus, you know, across from us, they've made such a mess of that property, just leaving all this debris there and parts and so forth, almost through this whole summer. So I mean, I know it's a real hazard, but I think some of that responsibility goes back to the fact that it was truly not managed by the engineer correctly. In fact, our home was supposed to be part of it, which we went to the meetings to show them that we're exempt from it. And, you know, we had to do his job to show him who was in it, who wasn't. So I honestly have to tell you that that hole is probably their negligence when they were doing that work, coming across with that equipment and so forth.
You didn't have it before, did you?
Well, evidently it was fixed once before. I was gonna ask you, did you guys ever have to authorize anyone to repair it the last time? Because it was only 8 inches the last time, and now it's 4 foot.
How long ago was that?
In the last couple of years is what they told me.
We
I
can
don't
look at the
know.
email.
It was never ever,
Look at the
Never
date on the
brought up,
email.
so I don't remember. I was on the board, but I was at most of the meetings, I don't remember that being a problem. And it wasn't the contractor, it's not, I think that's Tonto Brothers doing the job, they've never crossed that bike path.
No?
I think they're doing a phenomenal job, Telto.
They're doing
Yeah,
a
they're-
phenomenal job.
they're pretty
just-
responsible.
They're sitting there not being able to
And
finish
it's
the
costing
job.
them money because the equipment's in there.
Right.
But
Who's-
they've done a beautiful job in that ditch from one end to the other.
Who's the engineer, do you know?
I don't, you obviously, you know, from that department, I don't know his name. I've
Is
got
it somebody within the drain company? Is it Jim
Oh,
Hart's?
yeah.
Is it Jim Hart's?
It's definitely in the drain company. I don't know his name.
Okay,
I
that-
said that for you if you need to, but.
No, no, I think if it's an internal job, it would be Jim Hartson.
Okay, I mean, the whole thing's internal, and it has been sitting uncompleted now for
Quite a while.
quite a while.
But that's a whole different issue, we're just talking about the hole in the bike path.
You're missing quite a
And
bit.
that, it definitely looks like it's a box culvert. Now, when you get bids to fix that, or,
It'll be back
you know, you can't get bids to fix that because you're just going in unknown.
Yeah.
Then how are we ever?
Well, I really would have liked to looked at it before they went and
Closed it in.
closed it in, so.
But don't you think almost the project needs to be done before, I mean, that could be some, you know how they shored it up for so long, not finishing the project on that side by Shangri-La for a very long time, near the road.
But they didn't touch where that hole is, that's nowhere near where they were working, it's inside the box culvert, about
Okay.
15, 20 feet in. It's nothing that it was disturbed during the
During
dredging.
the digging?
During the digging, no, that was, the water rushing through, there's probably a break in the cement culvert, is just my thoughts on it. You know, when the water rushes through, it's made a cavity.
Okay,
And being real dry, everything's falling into place and that part fell.
I gotcha.
And when the water comes back up again, we're gonna get our 4-foot hole back.
Agnes, did
Yes.
Ed see it while they've been doing any of the saw grant, while they've been x-raying? Did he look at it over there?
I didn't have a chance to get a hold of him on this, so.
Did you see it, Sir Matt, at all? While they've been doing their x-raying?
Not aware of any sinkholes. I haven't got the results from the TV.
That could be the other,
But this sounds like it's a storm culvert, not a sewer.
Yeah, it's just the drain. It's the county drain that crosses M29.
Yeah, we don't, the saw grant will not take care of it.
No.
No, not the saw grant take care of it, but I didn't know if you at least saw it when you were
Yeah,
going by.
I haven't given him any information on it
Oh,
yet.
That's what did he say? He said it sounds like a culvert.
Box culvert.
It's obviously the help.
and the county owns the culvert, protecting it.
There's probably, they've lost the seal between the joints.
That could be.
so that wouldn't be us, would it?
No, but we have to have them research it. They're dumping it on us, so what
The
should we
county
do?
is?
Just,
Yeah,
County is?
yeah,
County sent her a letter.
yeah. Did you get the email? It's in your packet. Did you get a picture?
He's missing it. He's missing the email and the packet, or email and the picture.
See, it pays to be new here, Ken, I get pictures.
Here, Ken.
So the county sent you guys a letter?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's our-
First
it's
the
our
drain
problem.
commissioner and then the road commissioner. So, they think it's our problem, so. Irregardless, we'll,
Based on what?
it looks like it's okay for right now, but we'll have to figure out what's really going
We're
on.
gonna have to keep an eye on that, because
Yeah.
the hole opens up and somebody falls. on it.
Somebody's gonna turn an ankle. Or lose a bike if it's 4 foot.
And so when they're going to complete it?
No.
No. But I understand it's on everybody's tax bill, which they're paying.
Oh, yeah, it was on the tax bill before you actually, before they had a shovel in the ground.
That's right.
They told us to be prepared for that, didn't they?
Yes, yes, I know.
You missed that part. They called the
Agnes,
treasurer.
They explain why they got it cut out in such a perfectly good square?
Well, that's what I asked you, if it was something that might have been repaired previous to this time. That maybe the previous board had
No,
had
not-
somebody fix it.
Not that I ever attended a meeting of.
No? All right, well, I don't know how long it's been there, but apparently it's been there longer than just this short time, so. And that's why I thought, well, I'd see what you thought about it, but if you're not familiar with it either, we'll just have to start all over again. Fair enough? I'll just research it. We don't have to take any action at this time. I don't know if you want to reseal the path of the trailer park, the bike path from the Kmart to the trailer park either. I can get a price on that and see what that's going to cost, and at least we'll know what it'll cost for next year. There's no money in the budget for it this year, but
We can get a cost on it, but we gotta fix that issue, and there's there's a couple patches gotta be fixed.
yeah,
Or
there's some
just
things.
There's
that-
equipment over there, there's still putting heavy equipment coming across the
Not
bike
yet.
path. I mean, they have stuff that they're going to have to bring when they finally finish Kanya's, which means they're gonna run across the bike path, in and out of that property.
I don't think, and if they do, they'll cover it, because that
Yeah.
equipment will tear up that light
No, I know, but
asphalt.
I'm
They
talking
got
about
street
why-
pads on that,
why-
on those excavators.
Why put the blacktop on it until this project is totally done?
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't do it until then anyway, but I just want to get prices, because we can't plan anything if we don't know what the darn thing's going to cost. So at least we'll know what the figure will be roughly for next year. Okay, we have to have a request for approval to sign an agreement of the annual dissemination agent services company, and that's formerly Stoddard, Barch, and Associates. They handle, the amount of the services is $1,000, and it's for Public Financial Management Incorporated for auditing the bonding information supplied to the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board on each outstanding bond issue that we have, and it must be signed and sent in by 9/30/2016. Just off the top of your, did you get a chance to look that up today? No? Vi, do you recall what that used to cost us when Paul Stoddard sent us a bill for this? No? Do you remember, Bev? No? Okay.
How long is this for?
A year. Every year we have to do this. But it didn't seem like it was this much.
When you got bonds open, but you still got bonds, you have to send a report to the Security Commission every year.
Yeah. I got the impression when I talked to her that they may have raised it because last year it took them so long to get the money out of us. The actual audit came from Plant Moran the 26th of October, and then a week later we were in office. So it may have strung them out a little bit to have to wait that long to turn that in late and to the state. So we'll see what happens next year, but.
Her name was Dorothy there. She would send me the information, I'd fill it out, send it back, and email it in.
Yeah, well, they want an audit. They want the audit book that we get out of the, from the
Plant Moran?
Plant Moran company.
Right. It was included in the audit. You do it on the computer.
Well, that's not what she asked for. She said, when you're done with your audit, send us a book. And make sure we send that along with, and I think we have to file by September 30th, don't we, this year? Yeah, that's when the state requires the townships to turn in their,
Yes, the 30th of September.
so they'll be simultaneous. But what I need is permission to sign the document and for you to authorize the treasurer and the clerk to get the money. Money comes out of the bonds, so they can divide it up 3 ways to get $1,000. And I need a motion to that effect. I'll make the motion to,
Could you state it again?
yes, authorize the supervisor to sign the paperwork with, what's the name of the new company? Public Financial Management Incorporated, please.
And this
And
is
then-
something that does take place every year? The
Every
reason I say
year.
I don't recall this ever being
No,
on
they've
our
done it every
agendas
year.
before, that's the reason I was asking.
Yep, I
It's all
know.
new.
It's, well, I think reason it might not stick it out in your mind is I don't recall it being $1,000. But then, like we used to send the money into Huntington for the bond payments, there used to be $75 service charge, now it's $750 service charge. That went up too, so,
Was it because it was late? Or-
no, I don't think so. I think they just decided to
From 75?
It's from $75 is what we used to add to each payment, remember, Vi?
Yeah, she would
Yeah.
send us the bill 2 weeks ahead of time.
Yep,
And I had to have the bill to her before they could pay the.
yep, the check had to clear before they could pay the bank, the bank. It was Huntington Bank that put the money up. Well, you're the one that checked it, remember, it was $750, and I says, that don't sound right, and you checked it, and it was, they said that they had an increase, just to sign a check and put it through their bank, that's the,
Now, this is something that we're liable legally to carry over.
yes,
We have to do this.
yes. Well, this is a new company, but it's the old owners. They just have changed their name, and they moved.
And how long do we have to get this sent in?
We have till September 30th, but this this audit goes on every year, as long as the bond is open. And the bonds are for, what, 20 years, Vi?
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 years.
And is there other companies that do this?
Yep.
It's kind of late in the day to shop for a new company.
Well,
this
you
year.
can't, because we have an agreement with them that says we have to pay this every year. That there's an annual dissemination, I think they call it.
You switch banks, so for the,
They may
Yeah.
have raised the price because we didn't do it in office.
Yeah, that could be what, because she did sound a little irritated when I asked the question, so. I
Because
s-
we used to do it in office, it was $75, because I used to do it.
Yep. All right, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
You second? All right, all in favor, because we are spending money, signify by saying aye by roll call vote, please.
Mary Agnes.
Aye.
Angie, yes. Ken.
Yes.
Julie.
yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Motion carried. All right.
While we're right here, is it another company we can research for next year, or is this
No,
the
that,
company that it is?
when they did Paul Stoddard was the attorney that put the financing together for each one of these bonds. It was that company that did it. And you're tied to them until they're done.
The bonds done.
Unless they
Okay.
go out of business or they fold or,
Just a question, I shop insurance companies all the time.
I know.
And it's amazing.
Well, they did go out of business.
Well, they
They
didn't.
changed the name, they went out of business.
Well, they changed hats. It's the same guy signing the bottom. It's Paul Stoddard is managing director. So. Okay. I guess we're done. Anybody else got anything else? We'll go to public comments from the audience. Mrs. Stefanik.
Yeah, Marilyn Stefanik, and I live at 8017 River Road. Excuse me, I've had some dental work, so it's kind of slurring a little bit. I happened to work on the election here on the 2nd of August, and went into the ladies' room. I'm sorry I couldn't address it when you were talking about it, but talking about the water softener. I went into the ladies' bathroom, and the toilet was the color of my hair. I tried to wash the toilet, and it flushed it, and it got worse. I went to Angie and mentioned it, and she said that the water softener has been on the agenda, has been tabled a couple times, trying to get bids for somebody to get in here and give a cost on the water softener. Well, I washed it myself, and when I opened the tank, there was this much
Crud.
crud on everything. It took me 20 minutes to clean the toilet. I did it because we had an election going on, and I was embarrassed because it looked like a Citgo station. Worse than that. And I said, this is a public building. This is our township hall. And I came to address it because we've got a very big election coming up in November. And something's got to be done because that's embarrassing.
It's gross.
That's very, we don't want that going in the newspaper.
Did you do the men's room too?
I didn't, but I know women won't use the men's room. I would have just locked the room and said use the men's room, but women don't want to do that. And I can't imagine it would have been any better than the
I
ladies.
can't imagine either.
So I guess what I'm asking is, you tabled it again, looking for bids, but if these people aren't showing up, you need to go to somebody else and get bids in here and get this done. It needs to get done. If you've got the funds for it, I can't say whether you do or not because I'm not the treasurer. But it's an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment to me. And so if you're going to get it done, somebody's got to either hound these people to get out and get a bid or call other companies. And I hope it can get done sometime before November or the election.
We'll do our very best.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for offering. Do you need $2 extra for your time, or?
Yes, there is.
Give me my spray paint, spray paint white.
Thank you very much.
Thank
To
you.
add to that, we've been complaining over a year, and it does look like the bottom of a turkey roaster, it's so bad in there, and it is such an embarrassment.
Now I
Yeah.
lost my appetite for turkey.
Well, one of the other things I wanted to mention, when you get the hose for the dehumidifier, just get a hose separate, because if you need a longer one, then you don't want one that connects and.
The fitting looks like a regular hose, so we
It's
just
a
go
regular
get a garden
hose.
hose.
Yeah.
That was my intention.
From the planning commission standpoint, we have a notice that was in the paper, the voice paper today, for a public hearing. And the planning commission have been addressing accessory buildings and zoning ordinance 132.1404, accessory buildings regulation change. Number 3, we want to change the wording to accessory buildings aggregate of combined main floor area may not exceed 2,600 square feet. That's the change. And the other is the regular to refer to the schedule of regulations. It's in the paper, it's on the door. So we will be having a public hearing on the 24th at 7 o'clock before the regular planning commission meeting, as by our bylaws. And the other thing I wanted to bring up was, we're still working on the Verizon survey. Because of the heat, we haven't hit all of River Road. We will be continuing, so we were hoping to have this done by the middle of August, but it's getting close. So we'll just continue till we're done. And I know Mike has done the west side.
Yes.
We're still working on the east side of it. And there are forms in the lobby here for anybody that comes into the township to fill them out, and online. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Agnes, do you know who the survey people were along Marsh Road here today?
No.
They had 2 vehicles, yellow vest, and they started down there by Broad Road going this way. I don't know if they were checking signals for Verizon or what.
I
They
don't
had
know.
a
I
big
didn't know
long
anything
pole,
about
and
it.
they had 2 people, so I didn't know if there was anything you were aware of.
No, I wasn't aware of it. Barbara?
Hello. Just to talk about the sinkhole that you were talking about on that bike path.
Yes, ma'am?
It's pretty darn deep. Anybody gonna put some caution tape around it?
It's already filled.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I
solid
missed
now.
that part.
That's right.
Parks and Recs. Who's on Parks and Recs? I don't ever remember it coming in front of the board.
Well,
I missed that
yeah,
part.
missed that.
Skip that. I'll watch the meeting online. Approval of the resolution for the water billing clerk. I think that it should stay here. I think she should have a chance to get it straightened
You
out.
missed that too?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's done,
I'm
Barb.
just saying, that's how I feel.
That's
because
a
I
good
think
idea.
It's a
Okay.
cost to the township, and
It's
not
already
to the
passed.
township, I
Yeah.
don't care. I said, it's my opinion that,
Yeah.
I think it's if you outsource it, I think it's a extra cost to the residents. Give her a chance, if it doesn't work, then move forward from there. I'll watch it online. Thanks.
Thank you, Barbara.
Maybe I should bring up about Verizon again,
Sure.
since you were mentioning that. What we found, Mike found, who's a retiree from Sprint, that they never put an antenna facing east on the Verizon pole, mainly because of the roaming charges. They would have to absorb the roaming charges. And then they only put 90-degree antennas heading north and south, which... So what happens is you have this whole area, and mostly in the 7,000 block of River Road, that is not, their coverage has gotten worse instead of better. And so there are solutions to the problem, and one of the suggestions was to put a picocell, would be extender, and it would go north and south to be on the corner of Broadridge and River Road. So that's one of the solutions, and that's why we need all the residents' input for our teeth to get them to do something about this, so.
Part of the problem was, a lot of people, because Verizon was so bad, went to other things. I have one lady that just has a track phone, that's another thing, and she walks around it. She said, I couldn't get any of the regular carriers to give me anything at all, Talk to my neighbors and everything drops. So you don't have all just Verizon customers that you're getting input from, because they've left them.
Yeah.
And just on my planning commission, Gene, who lives 2 doors from me, and I have Sprint, mine's doing okay. I have a tower in my house and it seems to be fine. But he had Verizon cell service and he had Verizon internet. And he asked them, well, could you put in an extender in my house? They said they won't even help. So his service went from good, and he had internet service with it, to nothing now. And we're on Broadbridge near Mayor, we're not even near the River Road. So I keep hearing these stories here and there, so that some of these people's services get worse instead of better, so.
That's what I heard too. Anybody else? Sir Mid, wake up, my dear. Can you give me a rundown on what's going on for the rest of the board on our sewer cleaning and televising program?
So public comments is still going on?
No, we're done.
It's over? Okay.
Yeah, I talked to Don today, and he's very happy with the service from United Resources, a good contractor. We're always getting good feedback. Don been visiting the site periodically, and they were done with the backyards and a good portion of the main line. So we're expecting them to be done here within the next 10 days, 7 days.
Yeah, he promised me probably next Friday. Did he sent you some paperwork, because I've got something on a bid proposal. We had to have the line and a manhole cleaned out for AJ's Restaurant because it was plug solid. They charged $500 an hour, and Don signed that and authorized that to be done because we couldn't leave it the way it was. And then they want to work on some, on the north end, they want some roots cut out of it. There are, let's see, altogether there were 10 locations that needed to be cleaned. That is also $500. So if we go, they said they cleaned 3 lines yesterday at the north end of M29 in the backyards, and it took them 4.75 hours. And the crew told me that there were 6 to 7 more lines with roots to clean. So they'll be telling me every day what this is going to cost, but according to their arithmetic here, it'll probably be between $5,500 and $6,000 extra.
That's correct.
So that's something we have to come up with.
One of AJ's, he said AJ will be paying that.
AJ will be
correct?
paying that direct, yes. As soon as United sends us a bill, I have the invoice already written out, I just gotta cover it with a letter. We also want him to put in a regular grease trap. He can't use the sanitary sewer system to dump his grease and oil out of his restaurant. I talked to the mechanical inspector for our township, Bill Karras. He told me that he won't recommend a contractor to do it. I asked him to give me 2 or 3 names of people that he's had no trouble with that we could send to Andy and have him choose from that group to design and implement building one. He doesn't want any part of that, but he does want a drawn picture on file that's going to be approved by him before they implement it in the ground. And it's going to have to be done pretty quick, because otherwise we're going to be doing this again.
Well, whatever gets past the manholes, moving up the rest of the main too.
Yep.
Just because it's in the manhole now doesn't mean the lot's got
No.
gone out into the main.
Yep.
Yeah,
The roots are the township's responsibility, though?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, normally you trap all that before it gets to the sewer. Otherwise, you'll just get the carries on.
Anything else?
We're not gonna get a specific bill for that extra work. We're just gonna get a pay request.
Okay.
So it's all gonna get processed at the same time.
All right, well, when you get it, I want to include it in the invoice to Andy, so he knows that the township made nothing on the job. It came directly from the contractor, and that he knows we're working with him.
Sure.
Okay.
And then there's one change that, it's coming up. They wanna delete the force main and
Yes.
replace those with the wet wells.
Well,
And it sounds like we're gonna get credit.
yeah, that's what I asked him. I said I wanted a separate proposal for that, because they were kind of just gonna run over it and say, well, we'll do the wells for it, but I think it should take less time. Force mains don't need to be cleaned, because if they aren't working, they don't run. So it's pretty simple. So,
We'll run the numbers, we'll prepare the change order for you.
okay, I
And
want to
then-
see what the difference is, so we can pass that on as well.
But we need to get an authorization here really quick, so I'm sending you those numbers
Okay.
shortly.
All right, as soon as I get it, I'll get it right back to you. Anybody else got any more questions for Sir Mid while he's standing there? You got one? Go ahead.
I thought that cleaning was included.
Cleaning to televise only, not
Only.
cleaning of blockage or anything.
Yeah, that was surprising to me too.
Yeah, because I thought when we had that discussion, you had it televised and that they weren't gonna clean. So then we said, that's silly, because then you're gonna have to re-televise to clean it later. So now then you said that they were gonna clean and televise because you got another bid for that. That's what I was understanding, that's what it came across.
Yeah, that normally, the normal cleaning for the camera to get in, that's what's included. Anything, a blockage, or if we have a collapsed sewer or any of that type of cleaning is not included.
So these are like some specific
Yep.
circumstances other than normal cleaning.
So tell me, did we screw up by not giving it to that other contractor? Because all he was gonna do was clean enough to televise it. Could we got the same thing for,
No?
No?
This is the right way to do it.
okay, it sounds funny to me, but, okay, but I'm just a girl. Anybody else got any questions, concerns? All right, let's see what else we got on our magic list here. Thank you, Samred. Items to be on the next workshop, and do you want it on the 17th or the 31st of August? Do you want to discuss anything else? Anybody got any things they want to go over? Lengthen, shorten, anything? You want to hold off on these for the month of August then?
We don't have anything.
Well, there's lots of things to discuss, but I don't want to. Could dig out our list from last month. What was it?
Oh, I don't know. off the
I
top
didn't
of
bring
my
it,
head.
so. All right, let's, if something comes up, we'll contact you by email. All right, the update on the plant ran auditing week by our clerk. Angie, tell us what they did, or what.
Oh, Plant Moran sent an excellent team of people to come. And they came in with their briefcases and laptops and set up right in Avery's office. And were there the whole week, and whatever paperwork they needed, they asked for, and I provided. And then whatever reports they needed, I provided. I thought it was a great week. I got excellent feedback from them. So it went well. We don't have
the
any,
report.
we don't have any formal report yet, so.
Do they have any idea how long?
They got usually 60 days to put it together,
Do they?
so, yeah. We'll probably have it pretty quick.
I got a quick
Yeah.
question. I think we talked about it earlier, but we will be getting a copy of the as-bills from the Cameroon and all the footages from the leads.
We'll have the disc and everything.
Paper copy or just a disc? Probably just a
Computer.
disc. Okay.
Yeah, we should be able to find things. Because right now, they're digging up manholes that are on the plan, but they can't find them in the field, so.
As he said, as-built, whatever happened with the other ones on the water lines? Did you ever get hold of Lou
No,
Dusty?
I never got a hold of John. I'll put that on my list of things to do again.
It's on the list for next month for the board meeting.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Reminder of the fall cleanup for the township park. We were working towards August 27th to try and, that's the, is that when you're
That's Saturday, 9 to noon.
9 to noon?
Yeah,
Are
For
they gonna
that.
have a target trailer there?
yes.
I don't, well, they're gonna furnish
So-
one, but they're $3 a piece.
Yeah, $3.
Unless we got,
We haven't heard from anybody else. They had like an
Yeah. How many are you
overabundance
bringing?
of tires, so.
Well, probably about 30, 40.
are you?
Wow.
At $3 a piece, yeah, I want them on my yard.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. You got any friends that have any that wanna get rid anymore? Because if we can get like 1,000, we'll be able to get them for like $1.
No, not that many.
Junkyard near former Shane Starville and take that
Take
vehicle out,
this,
pull it out on the road and take the tires out. Ain't gonna hurt nothing, do it just for that.
that car's gotta be ruined on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
They broke that window
Smashed
months
in.
ago. In the snow, it was snowing and raining in that car.
I would say a second one now. I don't know if that's.
You can't get in the
Well, how
driveway.
many
Can't get
tires
the driveway
have people told
No?
you about?
I'm
No
sorry?
one. Tom's the only one that said anything about bringing tires.
And you're how much a piece?
$3.
$3 a piece to dispose
Put
of.
me down for 10.
10?
Okay.
They just said $3 a piece for tires, and mine are gonna be mostly truck tires.
I know, they're not truck, that's gonna probably be more. I'll have to, we'll just tell them we
Find
didn't.
out.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
will.
wanna show up with 30 tires, and have to take them back home.
It wasn't the last time. Johnny Buddy was so happy he brought his tractor tires.
You got rid of tractor tires too? All right.
Yeah. We had quite a time while we were last year.
I've only had a few of those.
But, yeah, he says, I can't get rid of tires, these tires anyplace else for this amount, so
Yeah.
I don't remember how many he brought over.
All right, let's see what else we got here.
9 to noon.
All right. Okay, we were going to talk about an annual picnic, but our discussion last evening with the Parks and Rec was they weren't interested in doing an annual picnic this year, so we'll cancel that. And if we have any board member comments is what we're doing next. You got anything you want to bring to our attention? Are you guys having fun over here on this end?
Seats are a lot more comfortable on this side.
Is it? Well, we're really glad to have you, Julie.
Thank you. I'm having fun.
Good.
Stay tuned.
I know, that's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing, just wait, but this is what I like, so.
All right.
And I
No
move to
comments?
adjourn.
You're done? All right, we need a motion to adjourn, and we have one,
I'll second.
and we have a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Good night. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your attendance.